Hello, I am Betsy Ross. I am here as Mrs. Carroll's substitute for the day, and she asked me to come on along and give you a little quiz to see how much you know about the Revolutionary War battles. I heard there's a little pup that you'd like to see with a special bandana that I made just for her. Okay, let's get started. Let's see how you'll do. After the takeover of Dorchester Heights, where the Patriots got control of Boston once more, General Washington found out that General Howe was going to which colony with a huge amount of ships? He heard he was going to New York. How many ships did General Howe bring with 64 cannons on each one? He brought 350 to 400 ships. Wow, that is a lot of firepower. So who do you think won the Battle of New York? You're right, it was the British. General Washington just could not compete with that. How many troops did General Washington lose at the Battle of New York? He lost 17,000 troops. Now, during this time, General Washington was employing many different spies. There was one young man, just 21 years old, who wanted to help the Patriot cause by spying in the enemy camp. Well, he got caught with some documents in his shoe. And he said this very famous quote, "I only regret that I have but one life to give for my country." What was that patriot's name? That patriot's name was Nathan Hale. What a man. He inspired so many. So General Washington, he only had 6,000 men left. So he went across the Delaware River into Pennsylvania. It was a very hard time for him, and there's a very famous quote that starts out this way. These are the times that... How did it end? These are the times that try men's souls. It was hard. It was Christmas. All of the soldiers were almost done with their one-year contract, and Washington didn't know if they would re-sign up after such a horrible defeat in New York. He needed a win, and he decided to cross what river with his men on Christmas night, 1776? That would be the Delaware River. He arrived there, and they snuck up on the camp because they knew General Howe wasn't there. Who did General Howe leave there in Trenton, New Jersey? Hessians or Germans. And they weren't fighting for a cause, but they were fighting for pay. What is that called when a soldier fights for pay? They're called mercenaries. Now you know that they must have been having a little drink on Christmas night. Washington came, surprised them. They had a huge battle. Who won the Battle of Trenton? The Patriots. What a huge victory! And they took 900 prisoners. Next spring, there was a huge battle that was considered the turning point of the war. The frontiersmen, they came in with sniper-type rifles, long rifles, and they actually took out many of the generals there for the British. What huge Patriot victory was a turning point of the Revolutionary War? Turning point of the Revolutionary War was the Battle of Saratoga. That winter in 1777 was an awful winter. George Washington had 12,000 troops at a camp in Pennsylvania. It was a horrible time. What was the name of that camp? The name of that camp was Valley Forge. That winter at Valley Forge was horrible. The Continental Congress didn't have the money together to have the things that the troops needed, and they lacked discipline. They didn't have shoes, they didn't have food, they didn't have shelter. It was really bad until General Washington had someone come in to train the troops. What was that man's name? That man who instilled toughness and determination in the Patriots was named Baron von Steuben. He was incredible. Now let's talk about the Revolutionary War at sea. You know, without the French and Marquis de Lafayette, we wouldn't have had enough ships to actually fight the British. What was the name of the famous sea captain for the Patriots? His name was John Paul Jones. During one battle, his ship was fighting the biggest ship of the British, called the Serapis. What was the famous quote that John Paul Jones said during that battle? Go on, say it out loud. Well, British Captain Pearson yelled to John Paul Jones, "Have you surrendered, sir?" And John Paul Jones said, "I have not yet begun to fight." And he took over the Serapis. What an awesome story. Now, the Revolutionary War was happening in the West as well. And there was one specific general that was really leading a group of men called the Over the Mountain Men through different battles in the West. What was that man's name? His name was George Rogers Clark. Now, the British were getting so much help from the Native Americans, but George Rogers Clark undermined their effort. Now, during this time, there was a general who felt underappreciated and was very upset with General Washington. He was pivotal in winning the Battle of Saratoga, the turning point. And he decided he was going to leave the Patriots and turn traitor and go with the British. What is the name of that traitor? His name was Benedict Arnold. Doing so well on your quiz today. I don't know what happened to my voice on some of those questions. I just was, I think, in the 20th century or so. Well, I'm back now in my colonial vibes, and you're almost done with this quiz. You're almost done. All right, just a couple more questions to go. There was a final battle of the Revolutionary War. What was the final battle called? That was the Battle of Yorktown. What year was the Battle of Yorktown? The year was 1781. Now, which general gathered the troops outside of Yorktown and started bothering the British so much and annoyed them so very much that they left and went up to Yorktown? That general's name was Nathanael Greene. Now, which of the generals did he bother so much that they went to Yorktown? That would be General Cornwallis. Washington enlisted a French friend. He had 4,000 troops and came to help out at the Battle of Yorktown. What was that Frenchman's name? You're right. His name was Marquis de Lafayette. Which other founding father showed up at Yorktown just in time? That would be Alexander Hamilton. So Washington won the Battle of Yorktown. The Revolutionary War was over, and we now had our new country. You did so well on that quiz. I'm so proud of you. And remember to subscribe and like so that you will have more quizzes like this. Because you know, all Americans should know their history. Now, here's your little Chachi Marie in the bandana that I made for her.
She was an American girl.